the World Day of Social Justice and the Kailasa Om Award ceremony in collaboration with the Department of Human Services and the Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Peace Group.
And your hosts for today's event are Her Excellency Mavijayapriya Nityananda, Permanent Representative of Kailasa to the UN, as well as myself, Manitya Swatantra Priyananda, Delegate of Kailasa. We warmly welcome our esteemed award recipients with our love and respect, as well as our live international audience joining us today from all corners of the world. Let us open today's celebrations by first explaining the particular significance of this day, on which 14 inspiring accomplished leaders in the field of social justice, representing 10 countries, will be awarded the Kailasa Dharma Rakshana Social Justice Award. Today, February 20th, marks a very special day, as along with being the World Day of Social Justice, as declared by the United Nations, it is also the day of Chitra Nakshatra. Nakshatra means constellation. It is the Janma Nakshatra or birth star of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam. According to Vedic astrology, Chitra Nakshatra is the most auspicious star of the celestial stars, and one can even see this star with your physical eyes continuously in the sky throughout the year.
And it is on this most auspicious Chitra Nakshatra that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, was born on January 3rd, 1978, as per the Gregorian calendar, in the holy town of Tiruvannamalai, India. Tiruvannamalai is the spiritual capital of the world for seekers of enlightenment and is home to the sacred hill of Arunachala, the very hill which pulls incarnations, avatars, down to planet Earth for the upliftment of humanity through a superconscious breakthrough. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is recognized as the 1008 living incarnation of Lord Paramashiva, the ultimate superconsciousness as per Hinduism, by his predecessors of enlightened masters and adepts. On this month, Chitra Nakshatra Day, Sri Kailasa is commemorating the World Day of Social Justice. And there are many social justice issues in the world today: gender inequality, systemic racism, and unemployment are just a few. Since 2009, every February 20th has been the UN observance known as World Day of Social Justice. The purpose of the day is to focus on the plight of social injustice throughout the world and to press for improvements and solutions. The day also pledges to promote equitable distribution of income and greater access to resources through equity and equality for all. This year's commemoration supports efforts by the international community to end social justice issues by advancing the following, but not limited to: sustainable development, poverty eradication, the promotion of full employment and decent work, universal social protection, gender equality, access to social well-being and justice for all, environment and animal rights, and many more. As restoring social justice is at the core of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's avataric mission, which we will get into more detail soon, social justice has been chosen as the theme for today's award ceremony.
So it is no secret that as a humanity, we are at a turning point in history. Whether we want to accept it or not, whether we want to hold on to the hope that everything will go back to the way it used to be, the reality is that the COVID-19 crisis has forced us all to face the fact that the very foundation from which our society operates is not sustainable. The unwavering waves of the COVID-19 pandemic and its devastating consequences act as what many may consider a rather brutal awakening to this truth, while responses worldwide are focused on reducing infections and fatalities, which is undoubtedly necessary. Global economic growth has plummeted, poverty levels are increasing, and inequality is accelerating between and within countries with intergenerational consequences. So today, humanity calls for a new world order which will ensure social justice. That is the reason why we have gathered from around the world today. And so today's program will be conducted in 3 segments. First, we will share with you highlights of the almost 3-decade-long incredible work of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, in various fields, including social justice, as per Hindu principles. This will be followed by the award ceremony, where special recognition will be given to 14 inspiring accomplished leaders for their contribution to the field of social justice in various ways. And last but not least, today's global conclave on social justice will be concluded with a special live presidential address by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, the sovereign of the sovereign state of Sri Kailasa.
So who is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism? The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the only legal inheritor of 19 ancient Hindu kingdoms and the successor to multiple Sarvanya Peethams. To better understand how the revival of the sovereign state of Sri Kailasa came about, let us dive deeper into the journey of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, starting from the very young age of 3. So at just the young age of 3, in 1981, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was initiated into Bala Sannyas, child saint, by his predecessors of enlightened masters and adepts. In 1981, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was coronated as the future Guru Mahasannidhanam Pontiff of Kanchi's Kailasa Sarvanya Peetham, Tondai Mandala Adinam, the oldest monastic university. In 1994, he was declared as the successor of Arunachala Sarvanya Peetham in Tiruvannamalai, India. In 1999, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism founded the mission Nityananda Sangha to revive Kailasa globally. In the same year, he was coronated as the successor of Kashi Sarvanya Peetha in Varanasi, India. In 2002, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism founded Adi Kailasa Sarvanya Peetham in Bengaluru Adinam in India. And in 2004, he was declared as the successor of Bhagya Nagara Sripura Sarvanya Peetham.
In the same year, 2004, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was coronated as the 203rd incumbent emperor of the Suryavamsa Surangi Samrajyam of Suryavamsa lineage, the ancient kingdom of the Suryavamsa, or the lineage of the sun god, is an enlightenment ecosystem established directly by Lord Paramashiva through Lord Surya, the sun god. In January 2007, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism revived Adi Pallava Sarvanya Peetham, the spiritual and religious kingdom in Puducherry, India. Later, on April 27, 2012, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was coronated as the 293rd Guru Mahasannidhanam of Madurai, Shyamalapita Sarvanya Peetham, the oldest Hindu papal state and monastic kingdom. The following year, in 2013, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was officially coronated as Mahamandaleshwar, Supreme Spiritual Head of Mahanirvani Akada, the largest apex monastic order, making him the youngest Mahamandaleshwar. In the same year, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was declared as Acharya Mahamandaleshwar of Atal Akada, the oldest monastic order in Hinduism. In 2014, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was coronated as Guru Mahasannidhanam Pontiff of Tanjavur Adinam. The following year, in 2015, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was coronated as Guru Mahasanidanam of Adi Pita Kolada Mata. It is also in 2015 that His Divine Holiness was coronated as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism by a congregation of over 1,000 Hindu leaders, pontiffs, through a grand 3-day ritualistic celebration known as the Atirudra Mahayagna. And in 2018, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism officially revived the sovereign state of Sri Kailasa as we know it today.
And in order to fulfill his avataric mission, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism revived Sri Kailasa, O Kailasa, the ancient enlightened Hindu civilizational nation, the first nation for Hindus. Over the past 27 years of his public life, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, has set up thousands of model communities which are peaceful and sustainable in over 100 countries. In fact, Kailasa ecosystem worldwide live as per the sacred cosmic principles of Ahimsa Paramo Dharmaha, meaning non-violence is the greatest virtue, and Advaita, meaning peaceful coexistence with all beings. Now, let us see why the revival of the sovereign state of Sri Kailasa, which is rooted in cosmic principles, is a survival need.
On May 3rd, 2020, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism declared, Corona is destroying the old world order. So what is the old world order? The old world order is the current social, political, economical, educational structures which fulfill only a few handful of individuals' vested interests at the detriment of the well-being of the rest of society and humanity. A couple examples taken from the World Economic Forum. Income inequality soaring. In the US, over 44 million people lost their jobs and unemployment surged towards 15% between April and June 2020. Yet, the fortunes of the top 5 billionaires rose by 102 billion, increasing their wealth by 26%. In fact, the combined wealth of US billionaires increased by over 637 billion to a total of 3.6 trillion, which is considerably more than the entire wealth of the 54 countries on the African continent. Gender inequality increasing. Women, alongside the poor, elderly, disabled, and migrant populations, have borne the brunt of the fallout from the pandemic. In the US, women accounted for 55% of all jobs lost, even though they make up under half of the total workforce. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism declared that although the old world order may have been there for the last 100 years, it is melting down as the pandemic carries on.
And the pandemic has made it evident that the need for a new world order based on cosmic principles has become a survival need. On May 3rd, 2020, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism also declared that, quote, Hindus who are living the cosmic principles of Ahimsa Paramo Dharmaha, non-violence and Advaita, peaceful coexistence, have to create the new world order and maintain it, unquote. Therefore, Kailasa worldwide, under the guidance of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, has taken the responsibility to guide humanity towards the creation of the New World Order, which has to be the most non-violent, equitable, and sustainable. So, what exactly is the New World Order as per Hinduism? Let us look at the glorious past of Akhanda Bharat. Akhanda Bharat, which included modern-day India, was at one time called the Golden Bird. It had abundance of raw materials, availability of precious stones, equal distribution of wealth and richness, and no social inequalities. On this ground, ancient India was a global trade hub.
The richness of ancient India triggered barbaric wars, destruction, exodus, and slavery of Hindus. As a result, the world and Hindus themselves have forgotten about the richness and power of their own civilization, which was not only richest, but absolutely non-violent, as it was based on the Hindu science of enlightenment. To this day, the persecution of Hindu leaders and Hindu minorities remains unabated. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is himself a target of persecution.
The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has, in fact, endured torture and murder attempts by the state and non-state actors, such as there were over 70 assassination attempts and physical attacks on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in India and abroad, over 40 attacks on community members, destruction of monasteries and temples, over 60 incidents of attacks, molestation and rape of women and women monks, intense lawfare via over 100 false legal cases, intersectional persecution using the entire government mechanism, such as politically owned media, police, and judiciary controlled by politicians, and incitement of mob violence via social media. And finally, on December 2nd, 2021, the plight of Hindu minorities and the persecution of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was represented at the United Nations by Sri Kailasa. This was the first time in history the voice of Hindu minorities were heard on an international platform such as the UN.
So what is the secret to Akhanda Bharat's prosperity and most equitable society? It's Hindu Varnashrama Dharma, which is, as described by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the most beautiful science developed for a most stable society. So what exactly is the Hindu Varnashrama Dharma? The four major powers that exist in society, knowledge, weapons, wealth, and land, were equitably distributed between four varanas, or occupational divisions, which were interdependent. Brahmanas were the teachers, Kshatriyas, the rulers, Vaishyas, the business community, and Shudras, the working class. There was no higher and lower between these groups. All of them were doing different responsibilities. In that way, the decentralization of power was always maintained.
So now one may wonder, how was each individual's varna determined? Varna was not decided by jati, meaning birth, but rather based on the way in which one chose to take responsibility for one's life and others' lives. As explained by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, quote, "The family by birth gives you specialization due to the ecosystem prevalent in the house and workplace. Then you choose your varna," unquote. It is important to clarify and emphasize here that the Hindu Varnashrama Dharma system has nothing to do with the caste system, and that most of the world knows about today. The discriminatory caste system, as the world knows it, was brought by the invaders and imposed on the Hindu civilization.
The truth is that the Hindu Varnashrama Dharma is beautifully crafted in such a way where there was equitable resource distribution, absolute law and order, women were revered, honored, and protected along with their children, and vulnerable people were protected at every level.
For the past 27 years of his public life, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been, through Kailasa, relentlessly working towards the revival of the Hindu Varnashrama Dharma and to evolve human beings in this science of enlightenment, Jivan Mukti, through it. And before we expand further on Sri Kailasa, let us move now to the most awaited award ceremony. To begin today's award ceremony, we would like to firstly thank all awardees for taking the time to being here to receive the Kailasa Dharma Rakshana Social Justice Award and be part of this global conclave on the occasion of World Social Justice Day being organized by Sri Kailasa in collaboration with the Department of Human Services and the Sri Kailasa United Nations for Peacekeeping. We would like to thank all the viewers who have joined us from across 100 countries, either on the international Nityananda TV or viewing us on the various social media platforms. We thank you for being here. So we would like to now present the awards to the distinguished individuals present here with us who, through their hard work, are contributing towards the advancement of social justice.
And now we would like to introduce Councilwoman Teresa Cox from the United States. As the daughter of school teachers, orphaned at a young age, Councilwoman Cox overcame life's obstacles and broke down numerous barriers to dedicate her life to improving the community around her. Councilwoman Cox is the first African American ever elected to Fremont City Council in almost 65 years. Councilwoman Cox is the first African American elected to the Olone Community College Board of Trustees in 50 years. She served 12 years as vice chair of the board. Councilwoman Cox became the first African American woman in the United States to earn a degree in nuclear engineering. Currently, Councilwoman Cox is dedicated to improving international trade relations, furthering business opportunities, and creating jobs in our community. Councilwoman Cox is appointed by the Biden administration on the U.S. Department of Commerce's District Export Council. Councilwoman Cox is now an executive for the County of Santa Clara Procurement Department as the Senior Strategic Sourcing Officer, where she was deployed as a frontline worker during the COVID-19 pandemic to manage one of the Emergency Operations Center. Councilwoman Teresa Cox, we warmly welcome you and we kindly invite you to share a few words.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Paramashivam, for your global leadership and spirituality, peace, human rights, health, and environmental justices, and COVID-19 initiatives, doing good for all people. I am deeply honored to be one of this year's social justice awardees and champions at the Kailasa Awards ceremony. Thank you to all who are responsible for today's awards, and congratulations to my fellow awardees. I dedicate this award to my mother, who's no longer on this earth, but her memories live forever. I stand on her shoulders as she has taught me how to fight for equality and equity for all people, being the president of the Teachers Union. I also, in the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King, the time is always right to do the right thing. I cannot be silent on the things that matter, like social justice. I would like to share with you words that are from a poem that's entitled Living the Dream for All People on World Social Justice Day, a day to reaffirm the ideals of freedom, justice, and opportunity for all, a day for love, not hate, for understanding, not anger, for peace, not war, a day for the family to share together, to reach out to relatives and friends, to mend broken relationships, a day when the community rids itself of the barriers which divide us and comes together for one, as one, for equity and equality for all. A day when all people, races, religions, classes, and stations in life put aside their differences and join in the spirit of togetherness. a day that we pay tribute to the World Justice Social Day, to awaken all to do the best in all qualities of human mankind. A day for nations to cease all violent actions and seek nonviolent solutions, and to demonstrate that peace is not just a dream, but a real reality for one day. If for only one day, we can all be drum majors for justice, peace, diversity, equity, and inclusion and equality, then we would bring to life what the World Social Justice Day means and living the dream for all people. Together, we can make a difference in our community now and in the future. Again, thank you so much for this wonderful honor. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Cox, for your beautiful sharing and for your dedication towards ensuring the well-being of the community and humanity.
And our next award goes to Mr. Gift Parsin from Kenya. Mr. Gift Parsin is an indigenous Maasai youth. Mr. Gift is a member of the Global Indigenous Youth Caucus and volunteers in a non-governmental organization called Maasai Women for Education and Economic Development as a youth representative, whose role is mostly based on rights issues, which include the environment, climate change, human rights, and matters that affect indigenous peoples and their relations with relevant United Nations organizations and agencies. Mr. Gift is also a member of the Coalition of Human Rights Defenders of Kenya, an umbrella organization which protects human rights defenders. Mr. Gift, we warmly welcome you and we kindly invite you to share a few words.
Thank you very much, and I'm greatly honored for this event. I don't know if my lighting is right because I seem a little bit dark on the camera, but usually not as this dark as I am. I am extremely honored to be nominated to receive such an important award, the Kailasa Rakshana Social Justice Award. I honestly gratefully and grateful for the recognition I have received for our work, because I am very sure that every other nominee for this award was as capable, if not more, of winning this award. I have faced several challenges on my way here, but each one of them has only strengthened me to make me the person I am today, a defender of human rights, a youth, an indigenous youth who knows exactly what he wants. Someone who sets eyes on a goal and does not lose sight of it unless it is achieved. Winning, or rather being nominated for this award, would not have been possible without the inspiration and support that I've received from other like-minded people for whom I have the deepest respect for, and from whom I have derived the strength to challenge myself and perform better at every step of the way. I sincerely thank each one of everyone for helping me reach this stage, not forgetting the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, my organization, Maasai Women for Education and Economic Development, that's MAWID, the Office of the Secretary General, the Envoy of Youth, and my team, the Super 30, the Global Indigenous Youth Caucus, the Yongo Human Rights Working Group, the National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders Kenya, and DOSIP, where I can proudly take this award as a mark of our achievement. I also promise not to only get better at my work so that they can see me here for more such awards. I'm grateful for everyone who has made this happen. As Helen Keller said, until the great mass of the people shall be filled with the sense of responsibility for each other's welfare, social justice can never be attained. And as Martin Luther Jr., King Luther said, injustice anywhere is threat to justice everywhere. Let's keep the fire burning. Viva comrade, viva indigenous youth. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Parson, for your important contribution to the field of human rights, including the rights of indigenous peoples and environmental protection.
Next, we would like to introduce Reverend Susan Shannon from the United States. Reverend Susan Shannon has worked among diverse populations all her life in varying capacities, including Tibetan refugees, the homeless, the differently abled, at-risk youth, and the incarcerated. She was ordained as an interfaith minister by the Chaplaincy Institute for Arts and Interfaith Ministries in 2011. She went on to complete a Master's of Divinity from Star King School for the ministry in 2012, with the focus of serving marginalized and oppressed communities. Since ordination, Reverend Shannon's ministry has been focused on prison chaplaincy projects and transformational programs at San Quentin State Prison, including providing Buddhist chaplaincy on death row. Her work is rooted in the principles of restorative justice and emotional literacy, fostering interconnectedness and healthy community engagement. Reverend Susan Shannon, we warmly welcome you and we kindly invite you to share a few words.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Hello and namaste. I am honored to be here today among all of you visionaries and activists working towards a more compassionate world. I especially want to thank the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, and His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, for organizing this event. I also thank my root guru, His Holiness Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet, for being my guiding light and inspiration for 45 years. Any good I have done in this lifetime is due to Guru's grace, which you represent, and the power of the awakened heart. I bow to your lotus feet. I accept this award as well on behalf of the thousands of people working in the trenches, tirelessly engaged in compassionate service, unseen except by those they are serving. You are seen, you are here. All my spiritual service is based in three words: disconnection, connection, and interconnection. These words are at the heart of restorative justice, or as I like to call it, restorative just us. In disconnection, there is isolation, fear, violence, and the most virulent disease in humanity, that of othering. In connection, there is love, understanding, and empathy. Connection leads to interconnection. In interconnection, there is divine light, divine life, refuge, respect for self and other, compassion, transformation, and healing. For 9 years, I served as the Buddhist chaplain on San Quentin's death row, one of the most disconnected places of extreme suffering and isolation on earth. The men in my Sangha learned to practice kindness with the spiders in their sinks, the flies on the wall. They recognized the truth of suffering, watching and praying for people on TV. Their hearts became soft. Eventually, they desired to share the joy of Sangha, connection and interconnection, which they had found in the Buddha's teachings. Their desire gave birth to my current project, the Buddhist Prison Ministry, offering a program for inmates based on the Buddha's teachings, which spread like wildfire across the United States. And now, thanks to this award, Knowledge of how their intention spread is known around the globe. I leave you now with this story as an invitation, a challenge. What more can we do? Who have we forgotten? There is really just us, one love, one heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Shannon, for your invaluable contributions to restorative justice and for spreading love, understanding, and empathy.
And our next award goes to Miss Mia Yamamoto from the United States. Miss Mia Yamamoto, formerly Michael Francis Yamamoto, is a Los Angeles-based criminal defense attorney and civil rights activist. She was born in Boston Relocation Camp, Arizona during the World War II. Miss Mia stands for human rights and justice for women, trans, immigrants, prisoners, LGBT, and all marginalized people, particularly for people whose lives have been upended by the criminal justice system and incarceration. Miss Mia joined the US Army 1966 to 68, awarded the National Defense Service Medal, Army Commendation Medal, Vietnam Campaign Medal, Vietnam Service Medal. She is the past president of California Attorneys for Criminal Justice, a statewide organization of 2,500 public defenders, the Japanese American Bar Association, the Asian Pacific American Women Lawyers Alliance, and many more. She is the co-founder and past chair of the Multicultural Bar Alliance, Coalition of Minority, Women's, and LGBT Bar Associations of Los Angeles. Ms. Mia owns a private practice since 1984. She was named Criminal Defense Attorney of the Year by the LA County Bar Association in 2002 and named one of the 100 most influential lawyers in California by the California Daily Journal 2002. Ms. Mia Yamamoto, we warmly welcome you and we kindly invite you to share a few words.
Thank you very much. I would like to convey my thanks and my greeting to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasanidanam, and His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. I want to speak a little bit with you. I have 3 minutes. I would like to talk to you about what I am doing and representing where I come from. I am a transgender woman of color. I advocate for transgender people worldwide. I belong to another organization called International Bridges to Justice, and we have outposts all over the world, primarily in South Asia, East Asia, Central Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and other parts of the world. We are advocating for prisoners all over the world. We are on a campaign to eliminate investigative torture. We believe that every single country that we are engaged in has laws and rules against investigative torture, and yet this evil method of gaining information is used all the time in criminal investigations and military intelligence. There is also the issue of race certainly in the United States, the issue of white supremacy, which has served to create great waves of anti-Black racism and anti-minority racism all across the country. Along with, I want to commend Reverend Sutton. We are all fighting against the injustice of the death penalty. We are involved right now in abolition of the death penalty across the country. It is a campaign that has been going on for many, many decades. We are still devoted to ending this oppressive, irrational, and unreliable system. And it does not ever allow anybody the right to give governments the right to kill people. Along with the other awardees, I want to emphasize too that you cannot have peace without justice. If there is the kind of inequality that we are talking about with billionaires and trillionaires from the United States creating absolute inequality and making injustice even worse across the world, I would like to commend this group. Social justice will never be enough. This campaign will never be enough to create real equality, real justice across the country. And so we have to keep working. There is no other way to end the kinds of issues that are facing us on a daily basis, including the coronavirus. I want to speak also on behalf of all lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. I'm speaking against the oppression, the inequality, and the marginalization that takes place on a daily basis here in the United States. Transgender women of color are the #1 hate crime target across this country. And again, the inequality, the bastions of racial injustice, economic injustice, educational injustice, and inequality is creating an unacceptable divide in this country. We heard last night, I am at a death penalty conference right now, and we spoke to us, Dr. Reverend Boyle from the Homeboy Industry spoke about how we have to understand that we belong to each other, that we are all interconnected, that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice on this planet. Thank you very much for this award. Thank you to all the awardees, and thank you for everything that you are doing to try to make this a more fair and just and equal world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Yamamoto, for your sincere hard work and the commitment to the advancement of human rights and justice for all the people. Thank you.
Our next award goes to Mr. Deepan Mitra from Bangladesh. Mr. Mitra is the Secretary General, World Hindu Federation, Bangladesh chapter. Mr. Mitra is an education specialist, human rights activist, and prominent Hindu leader in Bangladesh. He is involved in different government and non-government organizations such as Save the Children. He has been working in IIT Brack University as an education specialist since 2006. Mr. Mitra gained in-depth knowledge and experience in child rights and human rights. He is executive member of Inter-Religion Harmony Society. He's working hard for social, political, economic, and religious rights for minorities in Bangladesh. He is an executive member of South Asian People's Forum, people-to-people connectivity in this region. His main motto is to promote human rights to foster social, political, and religious affinities, irrespective of caste, religion, and social status. Mr. Mitra, we warmly welcome you, and we kindly invite you to share a few words.
Thank you. Firstly, I will thank the Supreme Point of Hinduism and Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam. I feel so honored for selecting me about Social Justice Award for this year by the Sri Kailasa. Actually, we want to see the equal and equity society in all over the world, but everywhere we see inequalities, injustice, and irrespective of religious, irrespective of economics, irrespective of sex, there are injustice everywhere. But we are not hopeless. We are totally hopeful. We're trying to do the equal justice for everyone and every people in all over the world, and especially for in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, the people are facing a extreme portion of injustice irrespective of religious, because the minorities people are facing discriminations from the states and from the majority community. And we are trying hard to ensure the rights for minorities people for their equal justice. And we're operating in NGOs, because in Bangladesh we a lot of people are facing the social are in very vulnerable situations. They are facing economical injustice there. So we're trying to making the self-employment issues during the COVID pandemic. You know, most people lost jobs and they are totally workless and they have no money, they have no food, and we're trying to make them self-employment opportunity so that they can get job and they can earn money and they can get the equal rights in the society. And I hopeful if we work together, then in near future we'll see a equal and equity social justice world within soon. Thank you everyone, and again I feel so honored, and thanks to all everyone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mitra, for your invaluable contributions to the promotion of human rights and religious rights for all.
And our next award goes to Mr. Kristen Johnson Williams from Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Kristen Johnson Williams has an LLB from the University of London, a legal practicing certificate from the University of Staffordshire, and has been part of the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago since 2010. Mr. Williams is managing partner at Kristen Williams & Co. He is the founder and chief executive officer of Quantum Consultancy Concept, leader of a think tank of expert consultants. Mr. Williams is also founder of the Quantum Foundation. The undertaking of the company is restricted to the planning and the implementation of programs to establish a National Institute of Human Rights and to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago by the year 2030. His vision is to have a stellar legacy as a civil society actor to improve the social, political, and economic conditions in the world. Mr. Williams, we warmly welcome you and we kindly invite you to share a few words.
Sorry. Firstly, I would like to say thank you, and I'm really honored to be chosen for this award of social justice. Thank you to His Divine Holiness. My vision really and truly is one world where we can all be respected for our individual beliefs, spiritually as well as physically. Towards that end, I really and truly admire His Divine Holiness for the levels of persecution that he would have endured, because not much of us, I mean, we're all here saying thanks for an award, and we all go through our fight and our battles. But to say that we would have been persons with 70 assassination attempts, over 100 legal cases, that must really be admired in a quest to fight for the greater good. So on that note, I end and I say thank you, and I'll just like to encourage Kailasa to strive so that they will be recognized worldwide, and the history and the quality of the wealth of information and knowledge is spread to spread to all humans actually. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams, for your kind words and support and the commitment to bring justice for all. Thank you so much.
Our next award goes to Imam Jamal Rahman from the United States. Imam Rahman is co-founder and Muslim Sufi Imam of Interfaith Community Sanctuary, president of Northwest Interfaith, and adjunct faculty at Seattle University. A popular teacher on Islam, Sufi spirituality, and interfaith, Imam Rahman works closely with the rabbi and pastor, affectionately known as the Interfaith Amigos. They travel nationally and internationally, sharing a message of inclusivity. Imam Rama is the author of several books. His commentaries illustrate the joys and benefits of interfaith harmony. Imam Rahman's passion lies in interfaith community building. He serves the community and individuals' needs through a variety of classes and workshops, including the popular Blush of the Beloved, a course in spiritual deepening and discernment, drawing upon the practices, insights, and wisdom within Sufism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Taoism. Imam Jamal Rahman, we warmly welcome you and we kindly invite you to share a few words.
Thank you so very much. Salams to all of you. I am absolutely honored and delighted to be among these, shall I say, rectangles of love here. And I want to start by really expressing my sincere gratitude to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, and to His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam. I'm speaking to you actually from the prayer room of the Interfaith Community Sanctuary. And here we have this beautiful saying that this work of interfaith is not just about hospitality. It's really a matter of our survival. We also say that this work of interfaith is not about conversion. It is about completion, becoming a more complete, developed human being. So for example, I'm a Muslim. I'm rooted in Islam. But when I'm open to the beauty and wisdom of other traditions, I find from my own experience that this waters my Islamic roots, makes me a better Muslim and a more complete and developed human being. I also work very closely ever since 9/11 with a rabbi and a pastor ever since my hair was black, long time ago, and we continue this work even today. And we say that all religions are a path to a shared universal. If I say that my religion is superior to yours, this is not religion speaking, this is ego speaking. And in our work of social justice, we have many, many projects in collaboration and in cooperation. I think this is best reflected in a wonderful saying of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who said that if you witness injustice, use your hands, meaning do something, get engaged. If you cannot do that, use your mouth, speak out, have the courage to speak out against injustice. And if you cannot do that, yes, then of course, pray from your heart. But the Prophet Muhammad said in this instance, this is the weakest form of faith. One more quick thing I want to say in our work of attempting to overcome polarization, which is so endemic throughout the world. We love that Central Asian saying, can I share 3 cups of tea? Listen, respect, connect. Listen. I love these words of the 13th century sage Rumi, who says, what is listening? Metaphorically, it's like putting your head on the person's chest and just sinking into the answer. Respect. I might be against a person's behavior, but not against that person's essence, which is Christ nature, Buddha nature, Krishna nature, Elohim nature. You know, this wonderful mystic Kabir from India, both a Muslim and a Hindu, he would say, when meeting somebody who's adversarial, protect yourself. Don't allow yourself to be abused. Take the right action. But as you take the right action, I beg you, do not keep this person's essence out of your heart And just this differentiation as you take the right action between behavior and being has the power to shift heaven and earth. And then connect, create some human connection. I love that wonderful saying by the Christian mystic that this universe is made out of stories, not atoms. And lastly, I want to conclude with a saying of the Prophet Muhammad, who said, Jamal, when you arrived here from the invisible world, everybody around you was laughing and smiling, but you were crying and weeping. Live such a life. Live such a life that when you depart, everybody around you is crying and weeping, but you are laughing and smiling. I wish for myself and for you this very insight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Imam Jamal Rahman, for your commitment towards restoring justice through interfaith community building and inclusivity.
And our next award goes to Mr. Fadi Jamaluddin from Lebanon. Born in 1961, a Lebanese Canadian lawyer, Mr. Jamaluddin is an activist of human rights and an advocate of green energy and organic vegetation. In 1984, in the midst of the Lebanese civil war, Mr. Jamaluddin founded the Lebanese Association of Human Rights and fought religious and sectarian discrimination in his country. In 1986, Mr. Jamaluddin represented Lebanon in the Human Rights World Conference in Vienna. Mr. Jamaluddin is known for his fierce and determined fights against discrimination based on sex, ethnicity, gender, skin color, and race. Thus, he continues to take on pro bono cases, legally defending victims of discrimination as well as victims of sexual harassments and domestic abuse. Mr. Jamaluddin is an advocate of education and believes every person, without exception, must have a proper education, thus contributing to the elimination of illiteracy amongst Syrian refugees, focusing on children and women. In addition, Mr. Jamaluddin established a pilot farm operated through green energy as an experiment field for organic vegetation. He also continues to use his legal status and experience to fight for and defend all types of victims. Mr. Jamaluddin, we welcome you and we kindly invite you to share a few words.
Thank you so much. I'm very pleased and honored to be chosen to receive this valuable and distinctive award. The human rights cause has been a priority to me since my early years. Is it not only a mission or a commitment, but a lifestyle? I live and enjoy my humanity in every aspect of my life and behavior. I always taught others to never differentiate between a human being for whatsoever reason. We are all equal in our differences. But humanity for me is not limited to be an act among humans, but it extends towards animal and Mother Nature. This is what I strongly saw in Kailasa, and this is why I'm very proud to receive this award from them. Thank you so much, especially to an icon of human rights, the leader Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and his community, and together we will continue our fight for a better world. And again, thank you so much for this award.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jamaluddin, for your kind words and your dedication and hard work towards creating an equitable world for all beings. Thank you.
Our next award goes to His Holiness Rajeshwar Guruji from the United Kingdom. His Holiness Rajeshwar Guruji is the founder and spiritual leader of International Siddhashram Shakti, UK and India. His Holiness Rajeshwar Guruji is wholeheartedly devoted to his community and is always available and accessible to help those in need. Throughout the year, he organizes big festivals such as Diwali, Holi, Navaratri, and Shivaratri to keep the history behind each festival alive. Some of his many awards and recognitions include appointed as advisor and global council member of World Yoga Community, USA, Argentina. He was appointed as the Peace Ambassador for World Book of Records, appointed as Mayor Chaplain, Dharma Guru for Harrow, London, received the Happiness Ambassador Award at the House of Commons, British Parliament, London, in recognition of extraordinary and dedicated service to the community, and many more. Your Holiness, Rajeshwar Guruji, we warmly welcome you and we kindly invite you to share a few words.
I think you're muted, Guruji.
Namaste everyone. Guruvai Sadam Punamadeva Tulyam Prano Vadharya Vaitam Sadevam. Chintam Vichintam Bhavameka Rupam. Guruvai Pranamyam, Guruvai Pranamyam. First of all, thank you so much to His Divine Holiness Nityananda Maharaji. Koti Koti Pranam. This award is not my award. This is my community award. This award goes to my Sadgurudev Swami Nikleshwarananji Maharaj, who initiated me when I was age of 13. I do my best. That is the one principle I follow in my life. I do my best, let God do the rest. So I'm serving my service to the community from last 22 years in Harrow, London. When the divine person is giving you award, that means is not person is giving you award, is the God is giving you award. I always believe mankind and humanity. And the all personality was talking about interfaith and others support you. And that is a very important as per interfaith. And I'm glad I honor myself in that way. Being a Hindu, we are supporting all that interfaith community. And we have also received the respect for all the interfaith community. As per the gentleman said, the Imam, regarding about our root, we should always remember our root. When we remember our root, we'll give something to the someone who can deserve. I'm also very happy today. Our former mayor and councillor, Krishna Suresh, is achieving award today as well. And this is the call, unity. And His Divine Holiness Nityananda Maharaj is doing a wonderful job. Is wonderful seva. Not only United States, is a worldwide. And this seva, I can say, is mankind and humanity, is coming from Sanatan Dharma. And this Sanatan Dharma is giving you opportunity to the world to acknowledge the seva and service to all the varnas. As per I was listening, there is a 4 varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. But I believe beyond that, humanity. Everyone is equal. And everyone can receive, everyone can achieve all the knowledge from the divine energy. And if you want to more and more, you hold to hand to your Sadguru. Whoever your Sadguru, you hold the hand. And your Sadguru will teach you, your Sadguru will take you wherever you have to go, but must remember, your fathers and mothers is the first Guru of your life. And thank you so much for this award, this Kailasa Dharma Rakshak Social Justice Award. And as per I said, this award belongs to my Sanatan Dharma community. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Your Holiness, Rajeshwar Guruji, for your dedication and selfless service to the community for the past 22 years. Thank you.
And our next award goes to Councillor Suresh Krishna from the United Kingdom. Councillor Suresh Krishna is a statesman and a community man. He was born and bred in the village of Nelliyadi, Sri Lanka. Since 2010, Councillor Suresh has been an established statesman. He is also an ambassador for the Harrow United Deaf Club and Harrow Association of Disabled People. In 2015, Councillor Suresh was elected as the mayor of the London Borough of Harrow, having served as deputy mayor since June 2014. Since 2006, Councillor Suresh has been a dedicated community leader and is one of the main Tamil community leaders in London, speaking on many stages at which he spoke up for Tamils' freedom and rights in their homeland, thus bringing awareness of the Tamil culture and struggle to the public domain. He has also worked with and for other communities who share his neighborhood in London. Councillor Suresh introduced the Tamil Thai Pongal as a Tamil cultural event in Harrow Council's calendar. Since 2011, Harrow residents have enjoyed the Harvest Festival as an annual event which shares the Tamil culture and traditional values among other communities. As an enthusiastic supporter of charitable initiatives, Councillor Suresh has personally taken part in charity fundraising events. Councillor Suresh, also known as London Baba, is a very prominent figure internationally among Tamils and as a leading Tamil actor in the UK. Councillor Suresh, we warmly welcome you and we kindly invite you to share a few words. Could you please unmute Councillor Suresh Krishna? Thank you.
Sorry, I was very enthusiastic without even checking my mute. It's an honor attending the Sri Kailasa's commemoration of the World Day of Social Justice and Om Award ceremony. And thank you for your invite. First of all, my greetings goes to Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanandam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Yes, I'm very fond of Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. He has many talents and he is an extraordinary. I never seen a human being who can share their hidden talents and powers with other human beings. But I have seen it in His Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, and I have personally witnessed myself in London. Yes, Ma Adma Daya coordinated many events in London, and the opening of a third eye and the vibration of coconut are the biggest highlights. These are only possible by the Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. It's an honor being part of this celebration. And I just would like to touch upon two things: the healthy living and the peace. Yes, the global austerity hits by many countries, and United Kingdom is not an exception. Because of the austerity, we have faced with many crises in UK, and poverty is one of them. And the food poverty crisis is another one which causes obesity, which means the poor people are consuming unhealthy food and faced with health issues from all age groups: children, young people, adult, and elderly. We need to educate people about healthy living and public health issues, but you cannot blame those poor people. When you are starving, you tend to eat anything within your reach. But in our town, we have voluntary community kitchens and many faith organizations, such as just witnessed our Rajeshwar Guruji, who's got the International Siddhashram Sakti Center, who also, is being helpful and providing the free meals for the needy who are been starving all along across our borough. And many faith organizations are looking after people who face with food poverty, but globally, it is not there. Second one is the global peace that we really needed. As you can see, now Russia is about to strike Ukraine. I can remember the quote by Mahatma Gandhi. He said, "Eye for an eye makes the world go blind." We need to value each and every citizen on this earth so that love, peace, and happiness will come your way with a smile. Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, your preaching of non-violence and peace, not only in India, but reach the people globally, which I am very proud of. When Mother Teresa received the Nobel Prize, she was being asked how you can promote world peace. And Mother Teresa said, you go home and love your family, because peace starts from home. If every household loved their family, we would all have the global peace. Let's be all hold hands together and unite together, work together, and achieve the social justice for all. And thank you for your recognition of the OM Award. Very happy to see my dear friend Rajeshwar Guruji also receiving this award. And thank you to all for having me on this great occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Suresh Krishna, for your dedicated leadership and for your important contributions to the causes of freedom and human rights. Thank you so much.
And our next award goes to Ms. Sulosh Pillai from South Africa. Ms. Sulosh Pillai is the chairperson of Daughters of Africa, with a proven track record in community development, project management, and empowerment, implementing corporate social investments projects in various sectors for over 35 years. Ms. Pillai serves as an ambassador, speaking at public platforms, sharing her story on her cancer journey. Daughter of Africa implements both cancer and diabetes screening and awareness for free in communities that do not have access to healthcare. Ms. Pillai is also the Vice Chair, ACT Foundation, SA, a global charity community which operates in a growing number of countries across Africa, Asia, and Europe. Ms. Pillai has been a recipient of many awards for her philanthropy work, amongst others, Mayor's Award for Excellence in Community Work, Amen Women of the Year Award, Peacock Award Indian Academy of Essay, and many more. Ms. Pillai has recently been appointed a member of the Multidisciplinary Ministerial Advisory Committee for Social Behavior by the National Minister of Health and Social Development. Ms. Suloj Pillai, we warmly welcome you and we kindly invite you to share a few words.
Thank you so much. My salutations and prostrations at the feet of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda, fondly known as Swamiji to me. His blessings indeed is the foundation that is making this world a better place to be in, no matter where we are globally situated. As you know, I am all the way from South Africa. We as an organization, the Daughters of Africa, our vision as an organization for global peace encompasses the 3 pillars of the United Nations engagement, namely peace and security, development and human rights, most importantly though, humanitarian action. We need more people to focus on the concept coined by our late president, Tata Nelson Mandela. I was very, very privileged to be able to work with him in many projects in South Africa. He coined this beautiful concept called Ubuntu, literally translating into I am because you are. We cannot, as a community, as an organization, as a global community, function in silos, neither can we function in a fragmented means. We as an organization want to provide the capabilities of every individual in our society and community to live the life they wish to live, but maintaining integrity. The approach obviously has got to be very comprehensive, very coordinated, and it must strengthen the resilience in communities. We need to move to a proactive approach in whatever we do. Much like what Swami Nityananda has been saying throughout this incarnation. Sustaining peace does not need seeking new mechanisms or new styles. It is actually wired in our very DNA. Let the enlightened masters like Swami Nityananda work peacefully and to stop prosecuting or persecuting them and allow them to take this dharmic restoration to the global world. Coming back to Ubuntu, which our late President Nelson Mandela coined for us, it is a value system that has the potential to cut across and unify races and ethnicities, class and gender throughout the world. It causes deep resonance in us for the kind of world we want to live in, the kind of world we imagine our ancestors enjoyed, and the kind of world we'd like our descendants to enjoy. It is deep-seated cultural roots that can stabilize this in humanity. Ubuntu calls us to consider our history, and when we talk history, we talk our ancestors, and to consider, again, our future. When we talk future, we talk about our descendants, obviously. We have to live the lives in which we can honor this formula. Unlike the Western way of thinking, we see both ancestors and descendants as people that are visibly to us, but invisible to many others. But to us, they are actual persons who are present in our life. We want to inspire people to make sure that we have a global society where all of us are free and we all have the ability to do what we need to do. We want to, again, give our immense gratitude to Swami Nityananda for coming up with this visionary concept as he has done now as well, the awards. Our pranams at his holy feet, and may peace be with every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pillai, for your invaluable work towards global peace and for your dedication to creating a sustainable world for all. Thank you.
And our next award goes to Ms. Lorelei Higgins from Canada. Ms. Higgins is a Métis Canadian cultural mediator, a Rotary Peace Fellow and Positive Peace Activator, as well as a Governor General's Canadian Leadership Program alumna. She has worked on community-based projects locally and internationally with government agencies, non-government organizations, and the business sector. These projects have centered on peace and conflict transformation, indigenous matters, and the elevation of female voices in leadership. Ms. Higgins has worked across the globe in communities in Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, and South America. She is the community lead for the City of Calgary's anti-racism program and is working to advance the City of Calgary's commitments to truth and reconciliation. Ms. Higgins has an MBA with a specialization in leadership, and she facilitates asset-based community development sessions utilizing an appreciative inquiry lens. She is also a consultant with Mediators Beyond Borders International. As Mrs. Canada 2021 and a Women in Need Foundation ambassador, Ms. Higgins is leading efforts to increase female leadership in peace-building efforts locally and globally. Ms. Higgins, we welcome you and we kindly invite you to share a few words.
Nithyanandam, Tanshe, Oki, Danipara, Amawistich. Hello, everybody. Lorelai Dishinakashun. So I have the pleasure of coming to you from Treaty 7 territory here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And behind me is our lovely medicine wheel that we have up in one of the hills by my house. So we're going to come back to that. But I just want to convey my sincere gratitude for being here. I want to recognize all the other people who are being awarded and just the people who hold the space for this type of event to happen and to celebrate the different parts of humanity that are required for all of us to do this amazing and difficult work. So many thanks to His Divine Holiness. I never imagined as a young girl that I would one day be among people like you or be respected enough by my community to be called a peace builder. I didn't know what that was. And we've heard today that peace really is simple. It's that simple act of creating connections and decreasing dividers. And we can all do something. And quite often, I think we get lost in what can we do? We're just going to sit still. It's impossible. It's too big. But what I hear from this wonderful group hosting us and from everybody on the call is every single person can do something. And it's only in moments like this when you realize that the things that you do every single day are spectacular and that they're meant to be rewarded. So if I can encourage everybody, one thing is encourage one other person today, that they too can be a peace builder, that they too can reach out that hand and create a connection where maybe before there was a division or an unknown, so maybe we were scared. And the more we connect, the more we reconnect, and the more that we walk together, I do really think that peace is possible. I'd be remiss if I didn't close by just thanking those who came before me. Somebody said earlier, you know, we stand on the shoulders of giants. I have so much of my family who has fought for rights as Indigenous peoples in Canada. I've worked with Indigenous populations around the world. And every single time that I stand up here, I think about all the work that's gone into this, all the blood, the sweat, the tears, but also the laughter and the joy and what's been required to be here together. So I'll just close by, again, referencing the medicine wheel behind me. For those of you who know my work, who have seen it, I always talk about the shared path forward and what's required in this work and to really, really achieve social justice is that we recognize that we're all required. So if we stop thinking linearly and that we all just have this piece or that piece, and we start to see ourselves as a circle, a medicine wheel, and we start to figure out where we all fit, we actually realize that in the circle, we all have a place. So I commend every single one of you watching, listening here on this call for the place that you're taking in creating a better future and for taking the disruption that COVID has created and turning into something incredibly positive so that we can refashion a world where we all have a place in it that's actually seen and heard, and we all feel like we have an active role in our societies. So thank you so very much. Marcy, namaste.
Thank you so much, Ms. Higgins, for your inspiring leadership and commitment to truth and reconciliation. Thank you so much. So now, as we are getting ready to receive the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, let us have a glimpse into his early work. As you can see here on the slide, when the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was very young, the temple monastery complex behind him of his gurus, Mataji Vibhutananda Puri in Tiruvannamalai, was built brick by brick by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself. His gurus guided him and he just followed. In 2001, at the young age of 23, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism established the first Kailasa temple monastery in Tiruchengood, South India. And 1 year later, at the age of 24, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism established the headquarters, the Adi Kailasa Sarvanyapeetham in Karnataka, South India. And throughout the years, right from the young age, as you can see here, in 2004, 2005, at the age of 26, 27, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has conducted mass living enlightenment initiation conventions, taking people through powerful cleansing processes of the 7 energy chakras. And in 2005, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was welcomed with a proclamation message by the mayor of St. Louis in USA. And here are just some few examples of the mass living enlightenment initiation conventions conducted by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, which attracted thousands of people around the globe. And here we can see the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism at the Kumbh Mela in Nasik, where he initiated thousands again into the mass enlightenment initiation, and where he met with world leaders at the Kumbh Mela. And all the hard work of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has translated into the 108 Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations initiatives. These initiatives support a variety of humanitarian services, which collectively allows for the creation of an enlightened, peaceful, sustainable, equitable, resilient, and thriving world. The 108 Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations initiatives align to the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals and expand on to many other initiatives, incorporating other elements which are rooted in the ancient sciences of Hinduism, universal practical applications to bring about time-tested, foolproof, lasting solutions to the world's problems, whether it is economical, social, or environmental.
And one such example is Kyun for affordable and holistic healthcare. In the midst of the pandemic, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism successfully implemented multi-layered quarantine protection through Kailasa's COVID care facilities, as recommended in Kailasa's COVID-19 and multilateralism report, which was published by the United Nations. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism opened his doors to all and ensured that all basic needs were fully attended to for all free of cost, including shelter, food, medical care, and more.
And another example is the Sri Kailasa Uniting Nation for Education Reform and Development through Nityananda University and Nityananda Gurukul. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism provides quality education for all and bridges gender gaps. Today, the Nityananda Hindu University is the world's largest Hindu university with more than 20 million enrollments, more than 7,000 courses conducted free of cost. Furthermore, by establishing the Nityananda Gurukul, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived the ancient enlightened knowledge transmission system, the education system, as per Hinduism, and provides free education to millions of children worldwide. to empower women worldwide, including rural indigenous women, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism launched many educational initiatives such as foundational literacy programs, vocational training programs, microfinance services, and more.
A third example is Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Nutritious Food and a Hunger-Free World. Over the past 27 years of his public life, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has, through the launch of the No Hungry Home Project, served over 1 billion free meals globally, with 10,000 meals served daily worldwide and 100,000 on festival days. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism works for a hunger-free world while ensuring the protection of the environment and all species. Specifically, Kailasa worldwide follows a zero-waste policy and adopts sustainable agriculture practices such as organic farming, rainwater harvesting, high-density farming, and vertical gardening.
The sovereign state of Sri Kailasa, despite the intense persecution and lawfare, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism established the sovereign state of Sri Kailasa for not only the persecuted Hindus, but for all the world's practicing and aspiring Hindus, and for all of humanity. Kailasa is the ancient enlightened Hindu civilizational nation. Kailasa is not a competition for any country. It is in fact only complementing these nations. It is a seed bank for Hinduism with the vision of enlightened living for all humanity, which is rooted in the fundamental principle of Advaita and oneness, the idea that all beings can live in peace and harmony, and that all human beings are equal and divine and can reach their highest potential irrespective of nationality, religion, gender, etc. Kailasa's vision is to revive and share with today's world the practical applications of the greater sciences of authentic Hinduism. And with this vision, Kailasa has created thousands of enlightenment ecosystems around the world.
Today, Kailasa has sovereign territory in more than one place. In its sovereign territory, Kailasa has its own Supreme Court and is also successful in achieving civil court status in 3 countries. Kailasa has the license to run banks in more than 27 places, and in 6 countries, Kailasa's currency has been accepted as mainstream currency, with acceptance as private currency in 2 more countries.
And the sovereign state of Sri Kailasa has established bilateral relations with 8 cities, 1 state across 6 countries, as you can see here on the slide. And to honor the achievements of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, 115 statesmen, 115 proclamations and certificates of recognitions from statesmen across 14 countries were conferred to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And just last month, on January 3rd, which is the incarnation day of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, 37 cities across 4 countries have declared Kailasa's SPH Nityananda Day. And these are some of the examples of the certificates of recognition received from congressmen and senators across the US. And here we can see the proclamations received by statesmen from other countries as well, such as Tanzania and Belize. And now let us get ready to receive the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, who will now be delivering the presidential address. Thank you.